Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you guys have tuned into Something Sporty, the show where we talk about sports and other stuff. You guys have found us on our last episode of the semester. I am your host, Elijah. I don't expect any applause, but please give some applause to the sporty part of Something Sporty. From the other side, we have London, beautiful, handsome Mr. London Lombano over here. Let's give it up for London. And newly formed mullet man, Boothmaster Eric. Let's give it up for Eric, guys.
Let's go, episode 6.
This show would not be possible without all of us, really. I mean, we all. Before I get all sentimental, how was your guys' weekend? I know we missed a show or two, but like, how are you guys?
This weekend was, well, pretty normal. Mother's Day Sunday, so I went back home. Luckily, I live like 40 minutes from campus, so I was able to do that. And just like soccer, went out with my friends. But yeah, pretty, I guess, normal weekend, you could say.
For sure. Eric?
It was a long weekend. We had conference.
How did you do?
Weekend. No comment.
I see.
Yeah, but the team overall did pretty well. Pretty well.
Hey, but you got a nice hat out of it.
I mean, I got this from cross country.
Oh, never.
Yeah, I mean,
never mind.
they're basically selling the same shirt over at the hat at the booth.
Speaking of your cross country, a little shout out to the men's cross country team. Didn't you guys win Team of the Year?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
there it is.
Appreciate it.
Mad respect to you, cross country runner.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's about time we got some recognition.
Some gosh darn recognition up in this B.
Went home with 7 awards yesterday at our banquet.
Damn.
First banquet in 2 years for the school?
2 years, yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Were you at the last one, or were you not here yet?
I was a freshman.
You were yeah, same. That was my entrance, my first semester.
Yeah, so this was my first college banquet, in other words. So, yeah.
Oh, man, that must have been a nice formal affair.
It actually, I will say that is one thing that SF State does well for us athletes is they do put on a pretty good athletic awards banquet,
Yeah,
I will say.
Indeed.
And so that covers all the sports in the school?
Yeah, so basically it's like a recap roundup awards night for all sports, and all the sports come together and have, a typical awards banquet. There's a guy who I guess MCs it and gives out the awards, team awards, individual awards, and everybody just kind of eats, has fun, takes pictures, whatever, and celebrates.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Did you win anything, London?
No, I did not win anything. I did get my student athlete sash though. So
there it is.
I'll be able to flex that a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So you did win something.
Let everybody know that, yeah, I was a student athlete in college.
Hey, I did some things and such. Did a couple things. Well, that sounds good, man. Let's see. My weekend was cool. It was all right. Last weekend, I finally crossed with the fraternity I've been pledging with.
Oh, there you go.
I am full-on member.
It took you all semester?
It was an 8-week process.
Yeah.
But a pretty good one. I am a full-fledged member of Pi Lambda Phi fraternity. Let's go.
Congratulations.
Fun fact, Mark Cuban is in Pi Lambda Phi.
Okay.
So
is that you guys' most notable alumni?
I would say so. Probably like the most recognizable.
Okay.
Kevin James is in it. We have a lot of politicians,
Nice.
people in Congress, and now me.
And now you're gonna be one of those future top.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be the best newscaster Pi Lambda Phi has ever seen, and broadcaster and speaker and voice
how did
person.
that? I mean, as much as you can talk about, how was that process?
It was so. I said this a lot throughout the process, but going through a process through a fraternity has many parallels to like basic training in the military.
Yeah.
You're with a group of people that you've never met before from different walks of life, and you have to get along with these people and like bond and kind of, there's a lot of like team building things and such. Can't really get into it too much, but you build a bond with, your pledge bros, and like, those are the things that make a fraternity a fraternity.
Yeah.
If there's not the bonds and such, then it's just a bunch of people getting drunk, which I don't mind. I like to get drunk, and I could finally say that now. But it was a good process overall. Like, I learned a little more about myself than I thought I would.
Yeah.
But overall, great process. I would recommend it to y'all, but you guys are graduating, so maybe not. But hey, if you guys want to ever come to some parties, I got you.
Yeah, and now you are in. When
Exactly.
we get up to the door and they ask, "Who do you know here?"
I know Elijah.
I know Elijah.
Hell yeah, guys. So let's see. I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I saw that twice.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it Thursday night because I'm a big Marvel nerd or superhero nerd. I watch all those movies on the preview nights. And it was all right. Give it about a 6.9 out of 10. Are you guys superhero fanatics?
I watched it on Saturday.
What did you think?
Solid movie.
Right? Solid. Not the best, not the worst. But I thought it was all right.
Yeah, but that Sam Raimi aesthetic was definitely visible.
It's very visible. The Bruce Campbell cameo.
Loved that.
Loved it. And I love Bruce Campbell.
Wait, have you seen the movie yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I really only watched like Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Okay, we can't really talk about it here.
Yeah, no, this is all you guys.
Oh yeah. But yeah, just to keep it short and sweet, like, it was Marvel's attempt, or not attempt, it was just Marvel's version of like a horror movie. Had a lot of horror film elements into it, Sam Raimi being the director and all. But the story was decent, It dragged on a little long. That's what I think a lot about superhero movies, is that they just drag it on in the end. Usually the beginning, the middle is decent, and then there's like a big blow off in the end. But like I said, just too much, too stringy, too dragged out. Another thing I did on Saturday is I caught UFC 274.
Yep.
Did any of you guys catch the fight?
No.
I was watching Canelo a little bit.
Canelo
So
losing.
I missed the UFC.
What a
card.
clown. Well, this is a perfect transition into the breakdown of the card. I'm going to talk about the main card because prelims, who cares about the prelims?
Yeah, for this one, was there any big names on the prelims? Because the last fight we talked about, there was a couple of really good prelim fights, wasn't there?
I believe so. For the last card that we talked about. Was that the
It was
Covington Masvidal card?
Covington Masvidal card.
Yeah. So I don't remember who, but yeah, there were some notable names.
Yeah, we talked about a couple of the prelim fights that were pretty solid. But anyways, yeah, get into it.
So let's get into the main card. So interestingly enough, the first fight of the card was Donald Cowboy Cerrone. By the way, there's a lot of cowboys in the UFC. Charles Cowboy Oliveira. Actually, one of them just got released, so I guess there's only two cowboys. So it's supposed to be Cowboy Cerrone versus Joe Lozon, two veterans of the UFC. However, hours before the fight, Cowboy had to pull out due to food poisoning.
Huh.
So the main event of the prelims, which was Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams, or Chaos Williams. Sorry, I don't have a pronouncer for you. That fight got bumped up to the main card. It was two tomato cans fighting each other, basically. Do you guys know what tomato cans are? Tomato cans are basically just two. Who cares? Really,
Okay.
just two.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
two. I don't want to call them schleps.
Tomato.
Yeah, I don't want to call them schleps because they are world-class UFC fighters, but nobody knows these people, on a grand scale, so it's kind of like a throwaway.
Yeah.
I see.
Randy Brown beat Chaos Williams via split decision. Whatever. I have in my notes, meh. All right. Next up, we have in the light heavyweight division, we have Ovent St. Preux fighting Mauricio Shogun Hua. This is actually a rematch from another promotion, I think from 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, Shogun has been around forever.
Shogun's been around for a long time. And I did not know OSP, or Ovent St. Preux, has been around for quite a while too. Yeah, so they fought in a different promotion, like I said, some time ago, 10 plus years or something. And OSP beat Shogun. I think he knocked him out. So this was a rematch of sorts, and just another meh match.
Yeah.
OSP got the win against Shogun, also by split decision. Another, like I said, meh fight. Then we get into probably the second most, the most exciting knockout. There's only one knockout. Iron Mike Chandler took on Tony El Kakui Ferguson in a lightweight bout. And if anyone knows anything about Tony Ferguson, he was really hot for
Yeah, I remember he was kind of dominant for a bit.
he was dominant for a while, and then he was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, but then Khabib had to dip out of the fight last minute and some complication. So he fought Justin Gaethje in just a just a pickup fight.
Yeah.
And Gaethje destroyed Tony Ferguson. It was a 4.5 round beating that was just one of the most one-sided beatings I think I've ever seen in a UFC cage. And since then, T-Ferg has just been he hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
He's lost every fight since and just not looking like El Kakui. So he comes back to fight Iron Mike Chandler. Chandler just lost to Justin Gaethje as well. I want to say earlier this year or late last year. Probably earlier this year. And then in the first round, Kakui came out looking like the T-Ferg of old. He rocked Iron Mike a little bit, a couple times. And so that was the first round. I was like, okay, looks like the old Tony Ferguson. Looks like he's coming back. Says Iron Mike Chandler with an impressive, crazy-looking, well, not that crazy-looking, but a front kick straight to the face, right in the mouth to Tony Ferguson, knocks him the F out.
Yeah.
He was out cold. It was amazing. I was at work when this happened, so I'm trying to contain myself while I'm at work.
I think I saw a picture, a picture of the impact, and his face was completely pressed in. It looked crazy.
Oh yeah, it was. I looked down, or I was doing my job because I'm working. I happened to look at something on the camera at work, and then I look at the screen, and he's already knocked out. I missed it. But then they showed it again 20 times, so I didn't miss it. It was great. So, yeah, Mike Chandler gets the knockout win in the second round. And so, a little bit of foreshadowing. He calls out whoever the winner of the lightweight championship fight from later on, Charles Oliveira or Justin Gaethje. He calls them out, and he also says, if Dana White and Lorenzo, if they happen to pick someone else to fight for the lightweight title, then I want Conor McGregor. Very bold statement. So he's a light heavyweight, or not a light heavyweight. He's a lightweight guy at 155. And McGregor, since his last fight, he after breaking his leg, he put on a lot of size.
He's gotten big.
He's walking around probably close to 200 pounds. And so Chandler is challenging McGregor at a 170 bout, a welterweight fight. So we'll see what happens.
And he's 150 right now?
And so, yeah, they typically fight at 155.
Yeah, 155.
So we'll see how that works. But that was not the end of McGregor for tonight. I will get. Let me
yes,
get.
I did see the tweets.
Yes. Later, right about a good 5-10 minutes after the fight, McGregor tweeted, "Oh, I'd love to knock you out. The 170 thing sounds great. Let's see, maybe." Basically, is what he said. And so that was probably my favorite fight. I'm a big fan of Mike Chandler. He sometimes looks at my Instagram stories, so definitely a fan of Iron Mike. In the co-main event, we had apparently one of the worst, most boring fights in UFC history when champion Thug Rose Namajunas took on Carla Esparza for the strawweight title. Now, when the UFC released the strawweight division, they had an Ultimate Fighter season. The winner would be the strawweight champion, and the two that got to the finals were Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas. And Carla beat Rose to win the title for the first time, so this is also a rematch. But now the turns have tabled, and Rose is the champion and Carla is the challenger. So I left work and I was on my way home throughout this fight. Apparently this fight sucked donkey butt. And Carla Esparza, in a rare turn, won the strawweight title via split decision from the judges. And the crowd was booing the result. They were booing the whole fight, I guess. Just a terrible Terrible fight, quite honestly, from what I hear. I didn't watch it. I'm glad I didn't. Congrats to Carla Esparza, 2-time strawweight champion. She also has Thug Rose's number. Will Rose ever be the same? We will see. And lastly, in a main event riddled with controversy, well, he's no longer the lightweight champion, but acting lightweight champion Charles Cowboy, the other Cowboy, Cowboy Oliveira took on Justin Gaethje it was a good fight, but like I said, riddled with controversy. The day before, Oliveira actually missed weight by half a pound, causing him to be stripped of the title. So in this case, they still had the fight.
Yes.
But Oliveira, if he wins, he does not get the title, and he gets his win purse cut in half because he missed weight. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's the worst part of missing weight. It's probably just as bad as losing the title.
Yeah.
But it was the golden opportunity for Gaethje.
And what's your opinion on that? On like the ruling of missing weight by?
It's strange because there's usually, because somebody was also
he gets like 3 attempts, right? And you get like split it between
you get
an hour or whatever.
You get a few attempts, and so he weighed in 3 different times and was just over the 155.5 mark.
Yeah.
In a sense, rules are rules.
Yeah.
So I get it, I understand, but also if you see the guy is pretty shredded. His face is almost skeleton-y. Like this guy cut weight. Like this guy, come on.
It's just so weird. Like, it's like, how do they get that sign? It always amazes me how they weigh in perfectly, like every time. And obviously, with this being an exception, but like for all previous fights, it's always like bang right on the dot, 155. Like, the science and like the diet, everything that goes into that has to be like so extensive.
It's so extensive,
and it's just like where did
team of coaches?
Where did he go wrong? Because I think his first weigh-in he was 156, right?
Oh man, I think so.
I think his first weigh-in he was 156, and then
so he probably just did a fucking hour of cardio just on an assault bike.
Just went in the bathroom and started trying to make himself puke or something.
Yeah, I bet earlier in the week he had where were they? They were in Phoenix for the fight. Like he probably had a fucking big burrito or something, and like I wish he didn't eat that burrito.
After they weigh in, they go and put on a couple pounds.
Oh yeah, like they make weight, so now they fucking they fill their faces up with food.
5 pounds or whatever.
Some people put on 10 to 20 pounds. Yeah. It's crazy how
in one day.
Yeah, in one night.
Yeah,
in a night. So, unfortunately, the lightweight title, is now vacated. Or I should probably say, this was a good fight. This was only a 1-round fight with Charles Oliveira choking out Justin Gaethje with a rear naked choke, which was in a pretty exciting first round. It was pretty back and forth. Justin Gaethje threw some bombs.
Yeah. I'm sure Oliveira had like a little chip on his shoulder too.
Yeah, no, like he was. How could you not be?
Yeah.
Like, you just worked your ass off for 12 weeks.
Freaking sucks.
Oh well, it's the last show. Who cares? Who's listening to this? No. Jeez, no. And so, unfortunately, he did not win the title. So now the title's vacated. So, the winners of the fight, they always get their interview with Joe Rogan. And, he's like, oh, well, now that you're no longer the champion, but you'll get the next opportunity at the title. And he's like, who would you like to face? Now, if you guys know anything about the lightweight division, Charles Oliveira has rampaged through everybody, every notable name in the division. So there's really only one person left to call out. And he said it in Portuguese, but he said, I want Conor McGregor. Yeah. So he called out Conor McGregor for the vacated lightweight title. That's, in my mind, that's the biggest money match. That's the biggest money fight.
Yeah.
Because whenever you throw McGregor in the fight, like
just off the name.
Because
recent fights, he's not really been much of a competition for anybody.
He hasn't won a fight
in his last 4, right?
4 or 5 fights. Like The last time he won, I think, was against Nate
Was
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah. After that, he went to boxing and fought Mayweather. Oh, well. And then, just kind of lost focus.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Lost.
he got crushed by Khabib.
Crushed by Khabib. He lost to Dustin Poirier twice. One of them was definitive. The other one, he broke his legs. So that's kind of a doctor stoppage, But they gave the win to Poirier. So that was the fight. That was the card. Overall, I don't know, maybe a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, there's definitely been better.
Oh, yeah. The knockout in the second round by Chandler, the chokeout by Oliveira in the first round, that's what brings the card up. Other than that, 3 wish-washy fights, 6 out of 10. When's the next fight? The next fight is obviously next month. Who's fighting? I forget. Oh, it's Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira's fighting somebody. Light heavyweight champion. He's going to fight some Slav. I forget his name. Jerry something. But speaking of Slavs, the guy from the Nuggets,
Yep.
Jokic.
Jokic.
Jokic. There's Jokic. He's from Dallas. Or he's in Dallas.
Doncic.
What's his name?
Doncic.
Doncic.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Oh, see? You guys know
all the-
me.
it's
You
all the
guys know
itches.
me. I'm the basketball expert here.
All the itches.
Oh, the back-to-back MVPs
Yeah.
for that guy. Sheesh.
That's Nikola Jokic in the Denver Nuggets.
That's
Yes.
That's what I meant. I mean,
Yes,
I'm
Jokic.
trying to defer the two because their last names are so similar.
Jokic MVP back to back, and it's the 4th straight European to win after Giannis from back to back 2 previous years.
Well, that's right. He's Greek.
Yes, he is.
Greek
Yes.
freak.
right.
Giannis is Greek. Yes.
Yes, that
We
is.
can put down together. But yeah, I mean, good for Jokic. I think. I guess Embiid had the other argument, but I think Jokic had another pretty stellar season, especially with the Nuggets kind of being undermanned with Jamal Murray out for the year, and then Michael Porter Jr. missing a big chunk of the season. I mean, I think he deserved it.
Yeah, trying to carry his team up to only the 6th seed.
Yeah, 6th seed in the West, first round exit, but yeah, I think he's an incredible player, and for his size, I've never seen somebody move like so slow on the basketball court, but still be like shifty at the same time.
And agile.
Yeah, and he looks like the least athletic person maybe ever played in the NBA. I don't know.
But something about these Slavs, they're aggressive.
Yeah, no, he is aggressive, and his brother. It's so funny. His brothers on like Twitter are always talking shit, and like mid-season, Markieff Morris and Nikola Jokic got in like a little scuffle,
Mm-hmm.
and as Markieff Morris is walking back to his bench, with his back to Jokic, Jokic comes and gives Markieff Morris a hard shove to the back.
Ooh.
And Markieff Morris, I think his first game back actually was like this last previous playoff game. But he was out for like a super long time. And his brothers go on Twitter after the scuffle and like are just absolutely like hammering Markieff Morris, like, oh, come meet us like at this play, like crazy stuff. Like these guys do not mess around.
Man, just hearing that reminds me of what happened, was it yesterday or the day before? Like, it was the Phoenix game, and somebody, you know what I'm talking about, Eric?
Yeah,
The Chris
so
Paul thing.
Yeah, like somebody like
yeah, some
can't touch
like a
the
little
member of the
kid.
family.
Oh,
But it
yeah.
was like
So-
some little white kid.
Yeah,
He's like,
it-
I'll see you later. I'll see you later.
Yeah,
Like he's
some
threatening some
17,
kid.
18-year-old kid,
Was
like-
he 17? He wasn't a little kid. He was
He
a
looked,
little-
I mean, from the
he
picture.
was young. He was
young kid.
He was
Yeah.
like a junior in high school or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, but he harassed and allegedly touched Chris Paul's mom.
Yeah, and then Chris
Hmm.
Paul started.
And
going
he's like,
crazy.
"I'll see you later." Like he
was
saw him
mad.
doing it.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, because like it's one thing to be trash talking a player, it's another when you like get physical and get into some kind of altercation.
Especially with his mom, like
That
what
especially.
could she have possibly been doing to like stir up something?
Yeah, my point is
it
that's
can't be
like
that serious.
it's out of line for fans to do something like that.
And now, is that confirmed that this kid did that, or is that just speculation?
I don't know.
It's all but
how-
confirmed?
To what extent it's confirmed,
Mhm.
but like, it's pretty certain. I would say.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that kid ended up getting like ejected from the arena
Yeah.
after that
I think
incident.
the game was the game.
It looked like the
over?
game was over.
Yeah, the game was over, right?
I'm not sure when exactly the incident occurred, but it looked like it was
Or at some stoppage. It was.
yeah, it was either a pre-game or during a timeout. One of those two.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting story. for sure.
Interesting. Yeah, just an interesting little sidebar. I was hearing that. Well, let's get into the playoffs picture right now. Yesterday, I enjoyed the Boston Milwaukee game yesterday. That was really back and forth.
Yeah.
At the half, it was 48-47 Milwaukee. Like, it was a pretty exciting game. Any thoughts on game 4?
I mean, well, first of all, Al Horford's game yesterday was like completely out of nowhere. Him and Tatum went both for 30, and Al Horford is like
Old.
40 years old.
He's
now.
old. He looks old.
And he's going up against Giannis and Milwaukee's obviously got a bunch of big guys. But that stat line, I mean, aside from the game, his stat line was pretty shocking to me. And then Jason Tatum is just showing how freaking good he is.
Sure is.
But yeah, this series has been pretty weird. I mean, game 1 it started off with Milwaukee winning by like 30 something, and then next game Boston comes back and crushes them, and these last 2 games are decided by game 3 was like 2 points, and then this last game the Celtics won by 8. But I mean, yeah, this series has been something else. I don't know what else like you would ask for. It's been back and forth, like you said, and I mean
I know it's pretty much everything you can ask for in a
it's
series
hard to
so
call.
far.
Like right
It
now,
sure is.
I don't know who's gonna win this one.
Because we were just talking about it before the show. Like, first game was Milwaukee blowout.
Yeah.
Second game, Boston blowout. And then these last 2 games have just been back and forth with each team
And I
getting a
think-
W.
I think the other message that this series sends is how far behind the Nets are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like first of all, Boston absolutely demolished them in all 4 games, and then you see the Boston Milwaukee series and how close that this has been. It's like the Nets either need to pray Ben Simmons comes back as an all-star and is able to propel them, or they got to do something because this series has shown how far behind they are from the top of the East.
Yeah, and they were trying to be, have the super teams and all that.
Yeah.
Like, just like the Lakers, don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, super teams are starting to become a fluke.
Yeah, everyone tried to.
It's not even the super. I think right now the NBA is like super even, in terms of like, for example, the Suns have the best record in the league. I mean, they've got Devin Booker and Chris Paul, but I mean Devin Booker is. I would say he's a superstar, but he's not top. He's definitely not a top 10 player in the NBA.
Definitely
and
not.
neither is Chris Paul, and they have the best record in the NBA. And then they're tied with the Mavs right now, who have Luka, who's definitely a top 10 guy. But aside from Luka, Jalen Brunson, you know what I mean? Like, so I think the playing field for the NBA is probably right now, I think, more even than it has been for a while.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. Eric, your thoughts on the Milwaukee-Boston series?
Insane series. It's hard to predict who's going to win this. As London said, like, I don't even know if my bracket's going to look good anymore after this series.
Let's not forget Milwaukee is doing this without Middleton, who's their second best player.
That's right.
Scam likely. Not today.
But yeah. So I mean, that series obviously, yeah, I think it'll definitely go to 7.
Oh yeah, like most definitely.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I'd be remiss if it didn't.
Yeah, no, that'd be sweet. As a Heat fan, well, first let's go ahead and get into the Heat series a little bit.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
So, Heat fan, I don't know who I would rather see. I think I would rather play Boston, just in terms of matchups. because the Heat are pretty small, and Milwaukee. Although the Heat have had a lot of success against Milwaukee, Milwaukee has so much size on us, and I think that our lack of size with Embiid coming back for the Sixers is showing. So the Miami Heat win game 1 and 2 by double digits with no problem, with Embiid out from his basically broken face. Embiid comes back and just absolutely dominates Miami, and there's just so far they have not been able to stop him, and they won game 3-4, which I mean, you could say home court advantage because I mean same with like Phoenix series, it's 2-2 in that. Phoenix took both home games, Dallas took both their home games, so you could say a little bit of home court advantage as well may play into that. I guess we'll see tonight with game 5 and Miami coming back home. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried right now as a Heat fan. Jimmy Butler has been scoring. I think I'm not sure what they're gonna do to stop Embiid, but I mean we'll see. Especially if Harden's been scoring a little bit more than he did in the first round and the first 2 games of this round, I should say. So I mean if he starts, kind of getting back to his old ways, it's gonna be a long series.
It's keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric, your thoughts?
I'm sensing 7-game series for both of these series,
Yeah,
man.
I think the East, these 4 teams in the East, I think are all super close.
Yeah, that's what I mean. All 4 games.
Yeah, 4 teams,
4
2
series.
games. But yeah, let's talk about the Warriors.
Yes. Game
Warriors
4
series.
yesterday.
Yeah, Warriors came back last night. That was a really big win for them.
That was a
Much needed.
much
win.
needed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like Warriors looked deflated yesterday.
They were terrible from 3. I think they definitely got away with one here coming out. With
They
a
sure
W.
did.
I
They
mean,
sure
Curry
did.
dropped 32 points last night.
Curry was on fire in the second half, and he basically saved them in that game.
It should be noted that Warriors head coach Steve Kerr was out.
And Kerr was out.
Kerr was out with COVID.
Yeah.
That came out, I think, an hour or 2 before the game started.
That was out of nowhere. That was surprising. But I think now, was it like 5-day quarantine? I think.
But he'll probably miss.
He'll miss
probably
tomorrow. Miss game 5.
He's gonna. Yeah, he will
And
miss game
then-
5.
Yeah, and then I assume unless the Warriors, it's 3-1. So
It's
unless
now-
the Warriors win,
It's now 3-1.
he should
Hopefully,
be back.
the Warriors can wrap this up
yeah.
in Memphis.
Aside from the Steve Kerr drama, I mean, also drama somewhat involving Steve Kerr in this series. So prior to after game 1, he kind of went to the Warriors and was like, "You guys need to be expecting this to be the most physical game series of your lives," which it has shown to turn out to be true. After game 2, or in game 2, when about 3 minutes into the game, GP2 goes up for a layup, and Dillon Brooks shoves him in midair, and he lands super awkward. Did you guys see the video of him landing?
I did not.
So he goes goes up for the layup. As he's coming down, he puts his left arm, I believe his left arm, down to brace his fall, and you just see in the video his elbow just kind of like, just like punch inward, right?
Ow.
So it was 2 minutes into the game too, just started, and GP2 in game 1 was a game changer for the Warriors, defensively, and he hit some big shots too. So anyways, yeah. So Dillon Brooks pushes him, breaks his elbow, and then ends up getting suspended for game 3. And then in the post-game interview, Steve Kerr, obviously a former NBA player, kind of talked about or alluded to the code that exists, among NBA players and, most athletes in all sports, where there's basically a line between playing physically and playing dirty. And he called that Dillon Brooks play, obviously a dirty play and broke the code, which will come back later on in Game 3, where Ja Morant suffers a knee injury in which he implied that Jordan Poole broke the code on his play where he kind of got double teamed at like kind of near the half court line and lost the ball. And as they're kind of scrambling for it, it looks like on video Jordan Poole kind of accidentally grabbed the knee of Ja Morant, and that's where he got hurt. And just minutes after the game, Ja Morant goes and tweets, in quotations, "broke the code." And kind of comparing that to the Dillon Brooks play, I mean, everybody on Twitter was just kind of going crazy at Ja Morant and saying that he lost a superstar card with that tweet. And, minutes after his team's losing, he's going on Twitter and pouting that broke the code, this and that. And he definitely took some slander, for sure.
Tisk, tisk, Ja Morant. Tisk, tisk.
Yeah, and obviously he missed Game 4.
Missed Game 4 along with Gary Payton Jr., as you mentioned.
Yeah, GP2 he's I think they said he's out for a month.
He's from reports I've read, he's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. Given that after a scan, it was revealed that he had some torn ligaments.
Yeah.
And a fracture in his left elbow. So, in other words, he could be back in time for the finals should the Warriors make it.
Yeah.
To there.
But yeah, so Ja's status is still up in the air for Game 5. But yeah, I think to compare the two fouls, it was not even close. And I think that's why everybody kind of had something to say about it.
I mean, it depends on the severity of the injuries.
Yeah,
to play devil's
they haven't
advocate.
said it's anything too serious for his knee, but if that's the case, I don't blame Jordan Poole for that knee injury. There's no way Ja's missing multiple games off of that little grab.
Off of that a little bit of a shove or a grab.
It was like a swipe of the knee a little bit, trying to go for the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't anything malicious. That's for sure.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, no, Dillon, that was
deliberate.
That was bad. And, yeah, no, I don't know what he was thinking on that
However,
one. Especially 2 minutes into the game, completely unnecessary.
Yeah, though he did show some signs of regret doing that.
Yeah.
Saying if I could take it back, I would.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he didn't go in there to try and, break his elbow or purposely, injure him. But it's just common sense. After the guy's already up in the air, you don't go and push him midair, obviously taking him out. That doesn't.
If you're going to do that, do it to Curry.
No,
I'm just kidding. Don't do
that's
that.
worse.
No, but playing the devil's advocate, or kind of being the aggressive competitor, having that mindset. If you're gonna injure somebody on a team,
make it somebody worth it.
Make it somebody worth it. That's just my take.
Yeah, I got you.
But Game 4, and this has been kind of the theme with this series, is on the first half, Memphis plays aggressive, and they're usually up at the half.
Which the opposite of the Minnesota series.
Yeah.
Where they were terrible for 3 quarters, and then, mostly this was Minnesota just being terrible and not being able to finish games. But, yeah, complete opposite of this series compared to the last one.
Yeah, and so, we had Jaren Jackson Jr. led the Grizzlies, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 blocks. Even Steven Adams, which I can't stand Steven Adams. I saw him a lot during the last game. He just has a stupid face, quite honestly. He got himself a little double-double with 15 rebounds and 10 points. Grizzlies led 41 to 38 after the half. But it wasn't until, and by the way, Memphis had the lead throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the final 45 seconds that the Warriors picked up their first lead and took it home, just barely eking out this 3-1 win.
Yeah, and to touch on that comeback, not really comeback, but Jaren Jackson's final 3 at the end. Why is he pulling up that crazy 3? And there was 15 seconds or something like that.
There was so much time.
Yeah, they had time to pass it around. They had
burn the clock a little.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so unnecessary. I don't know why he took that shot.
I think he was trying to get fouled because there was a lot of Warriors in him.
There was some chaos.
He was getting double played, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, so he kind of was ran into
5 more.
like ran into one of his teammates like areas, and he had a guy on him, so it kind of looked like a double team. But in the end, Draymond got a finger on it, blocked the shot, and I don't know what he was.
I don't know what he. Yeah, that was wishful thinking
Yeah.
at the most.
Yeah, say at least. Yeah.
So Golden State leads 3-1.
Yep.
Game 5 will be tomorrow. They will be playing in Memphis. Hopefully, Golden State can wrap this up. The guys can get a little healthy, get maybe a couple days of rest before they move on to the Western Conference Finals. So, looks like there's somebody trying to get in here, but it's almost time. But before we go, I want to do a couple things. Let's get quick NBA Finals predictions. Who you see in the finals? Who you see winning at this time?
I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to Miami Warriors.
Miami Warriors. Miami. And who do you see winning?
Miami
Warriors. Sorry, London.
So I'm a little torn because of this amazing Boston-Milwaukee series.
Yeah.
When we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I had Boston.
Brooklyn, right? Or
Well, I
Milwaukee?
picked at first I picked Brooklyn.
Oh, you're on the
I
last one. but-
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
Brooklyn taking on Golden State. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So I'm thinking Boston, Golden State,
Yeah, Boston's
with Golden State winning in 5.
in 5. Huh? Okay.
Let's just say 5. Fuck
Okay.
it. So that's pretty much the show, guys. It's our last show. Like I was trying to say earlier, I said I wouldn't cry. No, I'm just kidding. This show cannot be possible without all you guys. Booth Master Eric really is the Booth Master. No one could work a control booth like he can. I appreciate your work. London, you've been a terrific co-host, as I
Yeah.
guess we're all co-hosts. But it's been a pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
And
it's been a solid 6 episodes.
a solid 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's been fun. I will say, I kind of came into this class like, whatever, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I always like enjoy listening to podcasts, and I mean, what better, as an athlete and sports fan, like what better way to make a living than just being able to talk about sports.
Pretty full circle, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, with that being said, that was Eric, Boothmaster, Mr. Mullet Man Eric, ultra athlete London Lambana, and your host, broadcaster, newscaster, personality in training. My name's Elijah. That was Something Sporty. Go read a book, kids. Go do something productive. Learn a skill. Learn a language. Go do something. It's a nice day. Catch some sun. Do something. And with that being said, catch you guys on the flip side.